Welcome back for News Talk. We're joined by Paul Baker and Megan Schneider Ajak. I'm in studio, and we're here to talk about Chuck and Rayna Schneider. This is your parents, and they've had such an impact on the community and people locally. You say their name, and there are so many people that are affected by them. So,
absolutely.
Your mom, your dad was diagnosed. Let's talk a little bit about the backstory. There's a GoFundMe page set up to help out with expenses here, but let's talk a little bit about your dad.
Chuck, my stepfather, but for all intents and purposes, my dad. He was diagnosed in 2015 with IPF, pulmonary fibrosis, which is a buildup of scar tissue in the lungs. It's meant that his lungs just have to work harder and harder and harder, and for the last couple of years he's been on pretty constant oxygen as his numbers decline. My mother, Rayna Schneider, R-A-Y-N-A for the spelling, has been his primary caregiver. And part of their love story, but received the final diagnosis early January of this year of bulbar onset ALS. So ALS, treacherous enough as it is, bulbar onset means that in essence, instead of moving up the body, it goes down the body. So she started experiencing speech difficulties a number of months back. Went through a number of possible diagnoses, but the final diagnosis was bulbar ALS.
Now she's been taking care of your father and working, basically doing everything that that she had done in life up until January, really.
Right. And my dad, my dad is music. My dad's passion is music. He's brought music to this whole area, central New York, and
founding the director of the Glimmerglass Opera.
Yes. Yeah, and 4 orchestras, Schenectady, Catskill, Utica symphonies, and the newest one is the Clinton Symphony that he opened up at the age of 78, I think, 79. But one thing people don't know is that Rayna has always been the backbone to my dad. I mean, behind the scenes, she was his personal secretary through life. The last 30 years. I mean, she has been just a pillar to his whole career as well. So what's so touching is that right now, sadly enough, they are facing terminal illnesses together, but the fact that, our hope is that they can stay together as a team and be together side by side, because that's how they've always been,
Right.
It's such a beautiful love story.
It's the most amazing love story one could ever imagine, and we've luckily not only been able to witness it our entire lives, but be a part of it and be surrounded by it and
Clearly
watch them spread it.
Now you said your mom had a sense of humor.
Yes.
You were telling me during the break, and I just thought it was really touching as well. That you said she had been praying and wanted to find a way to spend more time with your dad.
They're just. You can't know them and not know how in love they are. You just, if you've met them once, you know that. But she prayed on a very consistent basis, and she just prayed for God to give her a way that she could spend more time with Chuck.
Chills. Give me chills.
And as she says, this wasn't what I had in mind.
No. What's really funny is that my dad can't hear very well. He has a hearing aid, and she's getting to the point where it's hard to speak. So sometimes they just laugh together. They just break into laughter, and they just understand each other on another level now. And they're getting through day by day. Every day is different, but as long as they're together, I think that's what is important.
Right. Yeah. Now, for someone who has touched the music community and touched so many lives in our region, your family's in need now as well.
Yeah.
So we want to let everyone know that there is a GoFundMe page set up. We have a link to it on our website. What are you looking for, as far as helping out? What are you looking for from the public?
Yeah, I mean, I lost my mom 4 years ago to cancer, and getting the information that we have now that my other 2 parents are terminal, it's a lot to take in and a lot to figure out. But I've realized that life is always changing, and you have to, wake up every day and just do what needs to be done for your parents, because they've done so much for us. I mean, we had such a great childhood, and Our goal is to right now just provide the optimal care for them and the best of the best. And they want to be in their home, so we're figuring out home care and how we can set up their house so that they can be safe and they can be happy and comfortable. So that's really our focus right now is their children, to provide for them, because,
And of course, tying in with the GoFundMe, of course, we can't do that on our own. The ALS Society of Utica, ALS, their church community at New Hartford Presbyterian, the arts community, people have reached out. But so with the GoFundMe, yes, of course, we're looking for financial assistance at this point. These are people that think nothing, their entire life has been centered around giving themselves.
Right.
This is an uncomfortable, initially, position to be put in, and we're very grateful for Brother Dana, who's put together this GoFundMe campaign and gotten the word out and made connections. But not everybody's in a position to give financially, and we understand that.
Yep.
But if you can at least visit the page, read their story, share it if possible. If nothing else,
Learn
take a
from
bit,
it.
please. That's part of their passion. Is living through their example. And so just by reading that and taking inventory of what's really important and reevaluating your priorities, if that's all that you get out of it, and maybe remembering all the wonderful things in this area that there are to offer in the arts community, whatever it is, whatever you need to get out of it, we ask. Because not everybody's in a position to donate financially, and we appreciate those of you that can, but if it's just moral support, we'll take that.
Yeah, and they've been so touched by all of the support they've gotten.
Oh.
I mean, it's just, Rayna said it's like a living funeral, you know, it's like every day, it's like I've heard from a high school friend that I haven't spoken to in 50 years, or, you know, it's just, I've heard from people in my life that I haven't heard
that
from.
you'd lost touch with. So if you
Yeah.
learn anything from this, it's to, you know, to make those connections, to keep those connections, and
Yes.
always give back.
Please.
We're all so blown away by all the support and love so far.
Well,
And
thank you both.
Thank you so
Paul and
much
Megan,
for having
joining
us.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you, and we thank the whole community as well.
Oh.
So
We'll be
thank
back.
you.
Tremendously. Thank you.
Back after